Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes, and the gang is all here. We're all back. Hello. Hello,
Hello.
Myra.
Hello, everyone.
Hello,
Hello.
Kwyn. Hello, Stephen Hill.
What's happening?
You
That's
talk
not the,
about
you're
post
cheesing
Thanksgiving
tonight,
turkey.
but you're not cheesing the way you were on that Soul Train show the other night. I swear, Mr. Hill. Oh my gosh.
It's so funny how when you're into something, you just forget there's cameras around. Just
I
act
know.
act like the fool you are.
I know. Dion Cole had a great line too. But it was really good. It was great to see your bride out there on the camera, on the screen there, and doing her thing. So excellent. Everybody doing okay? Myra, how are you?
I am doing well, thank
Myra,
you.
you look like you just came off a Caribbean cruise.
Really?
You're
freeze frame.
Or else you just came from something else because you got that fresh, flushed look about you, some color and everything.
I wash my face.
Oh, sure you did. Okay. We're going to go, if that's what we're calling it these days.
That's what we're going to call it. Yeah.
Okay. That's what we'll call it. Young Kwyn, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
All is well. Mr. Hill?
I'm spectacular. Let's be clear. I'm living the dream. Well, that's not true. I'm still living the glow of the Soul Train Awards. Thanks for shouting that out earlier. But some of the stuff, Jaden's acting like a freaking
like a teenager.
He's acting like a teenager. But yes, he's acting like a teenager. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Well, good, because I do want to talk about teenagers in our "What's Really Going On" question. So,
you don't want to know what's really going on.
Well, yeah, I do for a friend. So let's talk about your holiday. Did you all have good holidays when you were home with your fam in your family's new home?
It was really nice. I did not cook this year. I did not clean, which is why my mom was definitely mad at me for a while. But I will say Christmas, I definitely got them. But my cousin surprised us, and she came down and cooked for everybody. And Cameron gave a really, really powerful prayer that was very visceral and like just really just culminating over this past year. That would just made everything seem much brighter. So.
Your brother can cook and he can pray.
Ladies, y'all missing out.
So wait a minute. Does he still not have a woman friend?
Yes.
He does, or he does not?
Yes, he does not.
So what's his age range?
I didn't understand.
Myra, you are in that age range.
Oh, probably not.
Well, if he's
Your
looking
mama
for
might
somebody,
have something to say about that.
Cameron told us that he cooked for everybody and that you did not return the favor. No. And but he didn't tell us about the prayer. Although Cameron can pray because he prayed for our production crew the other week, and just sent us all on our way. Yeah, Pastor Cameron.
He's definitely been touched. It was very, very emotional. And yeah, I'm just really, really proud of all of us in terms of like my siblings and my cousins. And, like this past year, like it was good, but it did have like its waves of just, tumultuous and just like challenging moments. And so to be there, my grandmother's still here. It's something I never, ever like take for granted. So I know I always have something, to really thank God for, to be of this lineage.
Sure.
And, I can never say I hate all Black men because I have a powerful Black man in my family, and that's rightly. So yeah, and now I know Stephen Hill too. So
I was gonna say, and you got Stephen Hill. So
I was a little hurt for a second. I ain't gonna lie, I was a little hurt. For a second, I was a little hurt.
I saw you take a breath, like you and Myra just looking like.
I know. I was like,
ruh-roh.
What? What happened?
Oh, I'm so glad we're back to our familial terms. Okay, all right. Well, I'm glad you guys are good. Myra, did you have a good holiday? You weren't on the road, were you, for Thanksgiving?
No. I was home Thanksgiving, and my friend Gwen Pringle and my son and I, we went out to a restaurant, and it was wonderful. We got back to the house, and my son said, "This is one of the best Thanksgivings, Mom. I think we may have started a new tradition." He said, "Look, no dirty dishes." We were so excited not to have to clean after we had a wonderful dinner that I'm like, I might be over it. There was no turkey, there was no dressing, And look, I'm alive, people. I'm alive, Black people. I didn't have turkey and dressing. I didn't have no macaroni and cheese and greens. Not that I don't love it. I just didn't have it this particular Thanksgiving. And all is well with the world.
Got it. And Stephen Hill, how were the newlyweds Thanksgiving?
We also went to a restaurant, but it was a great collection. It was Shante, myself, her son and daughter, the faithful Ward, his mom, and his mom's boo. So it was a great collection.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
It was an awesome collection, and we had never all been together at the same time. And so,
and not in that small of a group,
because the boo didn't come to the wedding.
Right.
So we all together at the wedding. So it was a special evening, and I just love how Jaden and KJ and Sophia get along so well, and they look out for this teen menace. So that's great.
Okay.
Can you tell how I'm feeling about my son right now?
I know. And all of his teenageness. Yes. Well, I'm glad everybody had a good one. I did too. Went to Yolanda's sister's house and beat up on some little kids at bingo. And came away with $10. And so it was a good day. It was a good day. It was a good day. Didn't have to use my, So let's talk about the What You Need to Know newsletter. Kwyn, you are up. This is our newsletter, our daily newsletter. It super serves the African-American community with the stories that we curate. And Kwyn is our LGBTQ plus contributor. And you are talking about anti-trans rhetoric that was behind the Q Club massacre now about 2 weeks ago in Colorado Springs.
Yeah, so a gunman entered the Club Q in Colorado Springs on November 20th and began shooting, killing 5 people and injuring 17 others. Of those injured, 7 were hospitalized but have since been discharged, and the suspect was identified as Anderson Lee Aldrich, has been arrested. There hasn't been, they are charging him or them, I think they go by they, them pronouns, for bias, a hate crime. And this happened on the eve of Transgender Day of Remembrance, which we talked about like a couple of weeks ago, is an intentional day to honor those who have succumbed to our society's just anti-trans rhetoric. And so what do I mean by anti-trans rhetoric? There's literally data now, guys, that connects words to violence, especially when we look at communities of the LGBTQ people. Over this past year alone, more than 300 anti-LGBTQ bills were proposed, drafted, and funded by longtime anti-LGBTQ groups. I know specifically in Virginia, one that was just recently passed that does not encourage or force teachers to use students' appropriate pronouns. And when we have talked about, suicide prevention, something that really correlates with keeping youth alive is having a community that actually affirms and loves them. And so being in schools where they're not being referred to as their actual pronouns is actually putting more youth at risk. We have seen a 406% increase of anti-LGBTQ slurs online. And this is all data provided by GLAAD, which is abbreviated for, because I had to Google it, which is abbreviated for Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation. They are a longtime organization. So if you ever want to look up different stats in history, they've been really tracking this down. And GLAAD also documented 124 attacks at drag events, because the night that the shooter went into Club Q was actually a night that there was going to be a drag performance. So this isn't something coincidental. This is something intentional. Nobody should be surprised at a shooting such as this. We should all be hurt. We should all be sad, but nobody should be surprised, because we have seen all these different bills, all these different politicians, all of these different movies, all of these different shows have just been attacking members of the LGBTQ community. More than 2,500 books were banned in September 2021 that majority have LGBTQ characters and LGBT authors. There have been extremist politicians that have passed bans on trans healthcare. They have weaponized state agencies to basically investigate parents of trans kids. I brought up that bill that forced teachers to out their kids to parents without their children's consent. And we have like how the concept of gender affirming care, and also just like trans identity in general, has been misconstrued, and people have been misinformed, calling trans folks pedophiles, calling children that want to receive gender affirming care as if they don't know who they are. So this shooting, as devastated as I really was, because I honestly really was shaken, the truth of the matter is these shootings are going to continue if folks, allies, accomplices do not take the time to actually learn what is really going on. And you can actually get involved in any of these organizations, such as GLAAD, such as the Human Rights Campaign, or you can even check out your local ACLU to find out current bills in your city, in your town, that you could actually try to canvas to get folks to sign up for, like, go against. But we need y'all. We need us.
Let me ask you something. Is there the same kind of ramp up and escalation of this anti-LGBTQ programs and the laws that they have tried to implement in the schools? Was it the same kind of thing when the Pulse massacre took place, or is this of recent years? Do you know? Do you have anything on that?
The statistics that GLAAD put is from since 2021.
Okay.
But I think that actually is a good something to investigate and to see, because before Pulse, or I would say, I don't know, before Pulse, but I think now since Club Q, I think this is our second deadliest shooting against LGBTQ people. And I think there is a shooting before Pulse that was also at a queer club, but I could definitely be wrong. But I would assume so. What year was Pulse again? Was that 2000?
Was it to 17? I want to say 16, 17.
Okay.
Well,
that's something I'm definitely gonna Google though next time.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
And the other thing I wanted to ask you about, and I think it was referenced in your article, Kwyn, was about how they referred to him, to the shooter, as non-binary. Was that something that disturbed people of the LGBTQ community? The reference to him as non-binary?
I didn't see anybody shockingly surprised. I think when we talk about intra-community violence, I think for folks that are cisgendered like myself, it was surprising to me, because I assumed that this was a perpetrator of violence that was not a member of the community. Because usually when we think of somebody violent, this is somebody that doesn't know about the culture. This is somebody that wants to tear it down. But this is somebody that also was experiencing this anti-trans rhetoric, that was actually also trying to live their life and had consumed and ingested the same type of hate that a lot of people are suffocated by. Yeah. And so the type of, I don't want to say humanizing, but the type of respect that we're trying to give for all non-binary trans folks also includes the assailant. And I think there is a deeper conversation that we should have when it comes down to like this virus that is this anti-trans hate, and how it's affecting everybody, even members, of the community themselves.
You know what I wondered about that, because it seemed like it was 24 hours later or something that his attorney made that statement. And I said, I wonder if he actually identifies as such, or if they're trying to get rid of the hate crime charge. I was like,
but I think that a part of this could be on the other side, those who are going to be taking them on in court. Certainly there might be something to be said for self-hate crime.
Yeah.
And that was disturbing to me, in that, as you said, Myra, he was trying to get out ahead of this and not do this. But I mean, whatever your legal tactics are, more power to you. But I really thought that this was because he had such a strange growing up too. There was just like his father's like a porn star and now a religious zealot, and started out very progressive and now conservative and former porn star. He and his mother have had their issues and things like that, and he was taken down by a drag queen, which I absolutely loved. That was probably
stomped out.
Stomped out.
Like I enjoyed every scratch and bruise.
I loved it.
I enjoyed every scratch and bruise on my face.
Yeah, absolutely. What it was disturbing and enlightening in so many ways to me. So thank you, and let's keep an eye on that too, in terms of as we watch these, and God God, please, God, no more events like this. But in the event, looking in terms of the correlation between the anti-trans and LGBTQ talk and these events that happen. But as I said, please, God, no more of this. So just I've had enough.
The ones that we have lost, 2 of them were trans. Definitely praying for the families and also those who did survive it. So,
and how one family was so affected by this young man who was out with his girlfriend and her family. Her father was the one that stopped the shooter, and she was very close to, the last time I saw a report, was very close to losing her leg. She was shot in her knee and broke her kneecap. It was this family just they had enough. The father, a former Army enlistee, I think he got like a $50,000 reward for his bravery and actions in that from an organization there in Colorado Springs, which is really good. But I think this is really curious in a state that is and the governor is out. He is he's a homosexual, and has always been out as a part of his campaign and things like that. And in a state like that where there's just so much hatred, and you don't think about Colorado like that.
But that sounds like in Colorado Springs, like it was just the dots were, they still aren't really connecting to me. And I think sometimes violence can seem so like, well, how did this happen? How did we get here? But the truth
how
is,
did we get here?
Ain't Columbine in Colorado?
I'm sorry?
Ain't Columbine in Colorado?
Columbine happened in Colorado.
Yeah.
Really?
No surprise. Ain't no surprise. Columbine's in Colorado.
Yeah. But and I'm losing his name right now, but the young Black man that was killed by police, who was on the autism spectrum, he was, that was also a hate crime by the police against this young Black man, and it's just so disturbing, Okay, also in the newsletter, thank you for that, Kwyn. We talk about guess who came to dinner at the Trump estate, and that was, and I wanted to start it off like, and I don't want to make light of it, but this is just crazy. An anti-Semite, a Holocaust denier, and a president, a president who wants to bring the country down, walk into a
bar.
And that's essentially what happened. Kanye was scheduled to meet with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago. He decided to bring his anti-Semite loving friend, Rick Fuentes, with him, and how that happened, I'll never know. And how he got in without any advance, I'll never know. Stephen Hill, you and I both been to the White House and know that security is very tight there. And you would think it would be tight at the home of a former president as well. But what do we know? Maybe it's an open door policy for racists and white supremacists. But the biggest concern initially was about the fact that they got in and where was the security. And then people started asking more and more questions about how this happened and who this kid is, and how it came to be that they were having the Republicans making excuses for this guy, and for this guy being Donald Trump, because he's not apologizing for having the dinner. He's not apologizing for, bringing them into his home and allowing this to happen. And they are talking about the action. They're not asking for him to apologize for his association with these people, which is also questionable. His associations with many people, as you know, the Oath Keepers who just got sentenced, and folks like that. So this is disturbing. Any of you have thoughts on this?
This is awesome. What do you mean disturbing?
Okay,
what's disturbing?
What's the awesome part?
Here's the thing. Kanye right now is like, I fooled them all, right? Because this, more than anything else, is getting Republicans to denounce Trump. Nothing that he has done before this moment has gotten so many Republicans to denounce or back away from Trump. more than Kanye West dinner with Trump.
So
Let's
is
be
this
clear.
going to get Kanye more people on his side to vote for him for president?
No. It's
Oh,
going
okay.
to get fewer people to vote for Trump. That's what matters.
Okay.
Like I thoroughly believe, right? Like Pence is already backed up. As our friend as Dora on Facebook mentioned, Trump. I mean, Mitch is beep 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 beep. Like everybody is backing up from Trump.
That was
now.
really pretty cool. That was very nice.
Everybody's backing up from Trump.
I've come up against the clock against the wall. So we'll bring this back.
Boo!
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 Boo time!
Boo time!
I'd love to tell you who killed John F. Kennedy, but I'm sorry, I have to go.
Let's go to the question of the day, shall we? Talking about these darn teenagers.
Yes.
So here's the setup: a 15-year-old girl, her first boyfriend. They went to homecoming together. They're hanging out. So they go.
It wasn't Jaden. I'm sorry, my bad.
No, it was a 15-year-old girl, her first boyfriend. And recently, the boyfriend asked the 15-year-old girl, who is as big as my pinky finger here, if she was gaining weight. So, and she went home and asked her Nana, or told her Nana, what does this mean? And so this ensued a lot of discussion. So take yourself back to your 15-year-old self. How would you respond? And what advice would you give her?
Wait. That's it.
Understand.
He just asked if she was gaining weight.
Right.
So
What was the
question?
What was the sentence he said after that?
I don't know if he was able to talk, because I think her whole family jumped on his ass and said, you have no right to ask that question. But no, what should he have said, Stephen Hill?
I think we need more context. That's
I asked the same thing.
I think we need more context before this, because the question of the day just begs more questions. Ain't really an answer, right? If you say she's that big and are you gaining weight, that could be a compliment,
or
right?
Right.
It could be like, or what?
Or it could be, his little skinny ass asking her about, are you, yes, Myra.
Time out.
Yes.
Time out. I'm with Stephen here. We need more content. We've become so quote unquote size sensitive.
Right.
I wouldn't be offended. What if somebody asks, are you gaining weight? Why is that necessarily? Because
as a girl who has been that size, and somebody asked me, I don't want you, or somebody has told me, I don't want you to get any bigger than this, then, I flash back to that.
But as a girl who's this size, who may want to gain weight and has had problems before gaining weight, are you gaining weight? It could be a come on.
Yeah.
Hey, baby, are you gaining weight?
All right.
I think this is this question that is taken from one perspective only and not any other one. So that's a bit of a challenge.
Well, so that's why I wanted to ask you, as a 15-year-old boy who likes a woman with some girth to her.
For my business out there, what's like what?
You're a black man. You like
a little badonkadonk. Yeah.
This is not okay. I'm gonna get out of the trap of making it from my perspective. I have known women who, again, when you said like this, who have had desires to put on weight. They're the hate of all of their friends. Let's be clear. Yeah. All their friends say,
for you.
I eat everything. I can't gain anything. And yet they do exist. And so I'm with Myra, regardless of the size. It's really like, it feels like this is a question with no real answer without understanding, what the intention was.
While getting some more background in this, right?
Yeah. That's almost like that. Honey, do I look fat in these pants? You look wonderful in those pants. Ta-da! What?
Yeah,
it's like I think it's a loaded question, and I think society has put way too much power in that. You're automatically cute if you're a size 2, and you're just downright gross if you're a 22. That's some BS.
Okay, so hold on, Kwyn, because you've had a number of different facial expressions. Yolanda, go back to C.M. Williams. I want to read his. If he had said, "Are you getting fat?" then yes, I could see her being offended. What I have given you, Kwyn, is the information that I have. What are your thoughts?
I was talking to a friend earlier because I saw this TikTok that had talked about women prefer men that allow them to dress any way they want and they don't want to be controlled. And I said, true. Why would I want somebody to control me? Like what? And then all my students dressed like, no. And so he said, Kwyn, you know, there are 3 things Black men should never comment on: a Black woman's appearance, a Black woman's intellect, and a Black woman's food. And I said, exactly. Like, thank you.
They can't say anything about any of those things.
I just feel as if, like, me personally, I can handle opinions, but it's the controlling factor that's like, I don't want you to wear that. Now, if you say I don't think you should wear that, that's a different conversation. So if his comment was like, babe, are you gaining weight because I don't want to date somebody who's gaining more weight, then that's kind of toxic. But if his comment was like, oh, like, are you gaining weight, like as a compliment, like, okay, that ass is getting fat, you know, like, yeah, I think that's all good. But I don't know if that was also like a insinuation if
whoever is putting these questions up is clearly prejudiced. I just want to be clear. Like whoever's putting these questions up here is all leaning towards the negative. It's just hilarious.
Let me just say that this is a person who is involved with the question, and
wow!
Wait, no! I'm saying the person that is making this comment right here. I can't believe this. She was not okay with him asking. She's giving her opinion, telling you regarding this young girl. She said, "How is this a compliment?"
Was he asking that because he thinks that she's pregnant? Like, was it rooted in that? Did we try that?
Well, we didn't ask if I did not ask if she was doing the horizontal hula with old boy.
That's honestly the first thing that I thought about. I was like, oh,
yeah, I did too. I did too.
Okay, I'm sorry. For clarity, what I'm hearing you say is the person who helped trigger this question, the actual person who helped trigger this questions, who is on YouTube right now, first said, I can't believe that she was not okay with him asking, right? So we now know more information than we did before. And then the same person asked, how is this a compliment? Is that correct?
No. Well, I'm not able to see this. Okay. Oh, she said, yes. How is this a compliment?
Well, should we tell about ourselves or not? Okay.
Well, I'm trying to get some perspective for this 15-year-old girl, because if my 15-year-old boyfriend had asked me, am I gaining weight? I would have taken offense to that. That would have been not been a compliment.
Why?
Just because of where I was in my head with my body and things like that when I was 15.
That is correct. So there are other people out there who are exactly the opposite, who feel they are far too skinny and that every man likes somebody who is thicker. Right? And then when it comes to the Black community, especially nowadays, that's more the case. So I'm not going to ask what this 15-year-old looks like or anything else.
I told you she's like this.
Okay, so I didn't want to get to jump to immediately. That's horrible. That's not a compliment. A question.
No, go ahead. Finish.
I'm having a hard time with a question being a challenge, being assumed as a challenge. Now, again, the person who knows and was the impetus for this question knows more information than we do, and so I'm begging for more information so we can make more of a.
Stephen Hill, you are correct. Andrea Curley is the mother who is speaking.
I know that. I didn't want to say her name because nobody else did. That's all.
Yeah, you're right.
I tried to lay it out there in a way that everybody would know, especially our people on radio.
That is the voice of the aunt of the young girl. So, and that's our executive producer, Yolanda.
You mean the person putting up all the negative focused questions? That was really? Oh my God, I had no idea.
Shut up. Kwyn, you were having a moment there. You were, your hands were going.
I thought Stephen was going to break down like fat phobia and how it really is conflated with being ugly, and how
like Myra said too, yeah,
like that just taken as an insult when really like fat should be really conflated with beautiful. Like really, like when you start telling young girls like not everybody's body is the same size. Like really, it's not an insult if somebody tells you that you're gaining weight. Like as mothers, we should start doing that. As aunties, as god sisters, as godmamas, we start telling all of our young women that their body is beautiful as is. And if you end up gaining weight, that doesn't mean your body is less beautiful. If you lose weight, your body isn't less beautiful. Like, we have to start adopting that.
Yeah. And I also think too, we're talking about two very young people here.
Yeah.
You know, they're children, you know. So I don't think we should jump on the young man like, oh, you know, oh, how dare he's I'm assuming he's very close to her age.
Yeah,
and,
he's the same age. Yeah.
So, you know, first of all, I still think it may have been just an innocent question, you know, like, are you gaining weight? And she takes her foot forward. To me, it was just a yes or no. I didn't get that deep with it. Now I will say that as a teenager, when I was 15 years old, believe it or not, that was me. If a guy would have asked me if I was gaining weight, I would have. Go, boy! With your silly self. Wait, it's right. I almost broke my hip trying to switch as I walked away.
And as a 15-year-old girl who was already developed and way beyond, I think my years, even younger than that, and the way that men approached me, I'm not real sure I would have been, because I wasn't comfortable with the speed at which my body was developing. I'm not sure how I would have responded if my 15-year-old boyfriend had asked me, "Are you gaining weight?" That to me would have been, because gaining means, you know, developing even more, which is I wasn't comfortable enough at that point to with you know, all that I was carrying around with me.
No one's comfortable with their body at 15. Like,
that's
nobody.
True. That's
true. But here's the thing. And 15-year-old boys don't really quite understand that.
That's
and
true.
So while
that's what I'm looking for,
if that question had come from a 27-year-old or something else, like I'm smacking you around. But the fact that a 15-year-old boy, he deserves the grace when he says that wasn't that I meant as a compliment. He deserves the grace to, like, you're only 15. I realize I'm hung up on my body, or I realize my daughter is hung up on her body in some way, but you can't put that on the dude who's a 15-year-old who's learning his body and learning how to communicate and everything else. So it may not have been the most tactful thing to do, but he's 15.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's Stephen Hill. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm talking about. I'm, you know, I don't want to slap the little boy around. I don't want to, you know, grab him, take him to his mama's house or to his daddy's house, and, you know, you need to talk to your boy. That's the kind of clarity that I was looking for. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You go, Stephen Hill. And I hope you're having this discussion with your 18-year-old ward.
You know what? I was going to go for the joke, and then I decided not to, because I'm like, I'm not getting hated by women today. Again, no, it's not happening. It's not happening.
Steve, we were so close.
I know, right? I know. I pulled defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah, you really did. Yeah, exactly. Very well said. Very well said. Okay, so Yolanda, do we have any other comments before we close this out? Before you wrap us up? Okay. All right. Take that as oh no. Okay. All right. All right. It's time to talk. Oh, here we go. See? Pam Adams saying what you said, Steve. He's only 15. It'll serve him well to learn to never to comment on girls or women's bodies. He can't go wrong ever.
That's not true. That's a lie. That's a big fat lie. Okay, by the way, I'm gonna tell you right now, if I went through the day without commenting about my wife's body every once in a while, that would be a bad thing. You have to understand how to do it, but do not teach a 15-year-old to never do it, because he's going to run into a woman who is going to want more confirmation. Confirmation is not the word I'm looking for, but like affirmation about her looks and everything else. And guys are the same. I'm not saying it's only a guy So I'm going to be clear. I'm not saying that. It's just this case is about men and women's bodies. So that's why I'm keeping it there. I want to be told that my nose is not small. I want to be told that I look good bald. Like lie to me as well, right?
You look so good bald. You are so cute. Oh, look at that little bald.
I took it to the joke too quick. But the point is, like, a 15-year-old shouldn't be taught to never talk about it. It's just like how to do it and how to phrase the questions, and understand where people's sensitivities are. That's the agreement. That's the lesson. I'm gonna shut up now.
That's the lesson there. No, it is.
Take my little small nosed ass home.
Your little smooth head. Yes.
Nose ass home.
Let's talk about what's going on in the world. Myra J, you, George, and some other guy are out on the road as the comedy trio. Where have you been? Where are you going?
We just came from Raleigh. Raleigh, thank you very, very much. We did 4 wonderful shows there. We are on our way to Milwaukee this weekend. Very, very, very Burr. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I looked it up in Milwaukee. I think the high is going to be 29 on Saturday. Thank you very much.
A warm burst. Yeah.
Yeah.
You gonna take your pho?
Trust and believe. And yes, it's real.
Okay. Sorry, Kwyn. Sorry. I was gonna send mine to you.
Yes, it is. But I always preface it with mine was a Kevorkian fur. I've had it for years. And this was an animal that was. Oh, Kwyn doesn't know that.
Right. Dr. Kevorkian. Yes.
Dr. Kevorkian was a real doctor who assisted to suicide to people back in the day. He went to jail for it. Yeah.
There's
a movie and the story goes along with it, Kwyn, about Dr.
And you got a quote from him? Why would you do that?
No, Kwyn. No, Kwyn, I was making a joke. These were animals that were ready to go.
Adriana first, everything.
These are animals that were ready to go.
Oh, okay, got you.
That's very funny. Okay, I
get it now.
Okay.
But Dr. Kevorkian had to assist his own suicide when he told Myra she was skinny.
I know.
Great callback. Stephen Hill, what's going on with you? We saw the American Music Awards. Great job. Oh, Stephen, the salute to Lionel Richie was
listen. That was one of my more fun moments, and watching Charlie and Stevie put that together, and they each picked the songs that they wanted to do, and they went back and forth. And Charlie Puth is just an amazing musician. If you get to listen to any of his records, he has perfect pitch, can tell you what key anything is. And
that was amazing when he goes, that was an A minor, and I think it was like, oh my God, this kid.
So that was clearly, that was my highlight. I thought Pink was great. I really enjoyed all of the performances, even Cardi B doing her little dance. It was great. It was great. So
did you ask her if she was gaining weight?
Who, Cardi B?
Uh-huh.
No, I knew it to be true, so I didn't have to
ask. You see Kwyn's eyes.
Digging the hole. That was good stuff.
Thank you. For those who don't know, Lionel Richie was awarded the Icon Award at the American Music Awards, and they did a salute with Stevie and Charlie Puth, and
there were two grand pianos back to back.
Yeah, the dueling pianos,
and they just played just the pianos. The band didn't jump in until Jesus Is Love.
Right.
So that was Stevie was insistent on that song. Now, I usually, as a former network person, not the most popular song in the world. If you're picking Lionel Richie songs, if you're the mass public, like on Channel 7, ABC, Jesus Is Love is not the song. Play it when I tell you, I was so glad to let that one go. And like, yep, that's what Stevie said we're gonna do. He wants to do it. That's what we're gonna do, because I love that song. Shout out to Donnie Simpson, who closed his radio show in Washington D.C. with that song every day.
Wow. And that is, and the fact that he referenced, this is a song they played at my mom's funeral, and I love you for it, and then the recreation of We Are the World. I was done. I was done.
Glad,
I was like, I think I did. I said, mic drop. I sent that to you because it was.
You did indeed.
Absolutely fabulous.
You did. Glad you enjoyed it.
I'm gonna have to catch it.
But it was just a premiere. It was just what's that?
Can I catch it on demand?
Yes, you can. You can catch it on Hulu, I believe.
Hulu?
Is the
Oh,
place to have
okay.
it.
Thank you.
But let's be clear, that was really just the opening act for the Soul Train Awards. So you know what I'm saying.
Which seeing you beam as you watched your bride perform was everything. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Miss Shante Moore-Hill was fabulous.
She was. By the way, she fell the first time. First time she did the performance, she fell. No lie. No, if those of you seen the Soul Train Awards, she did Love's Taken Over, and then she goes to the piano for It's All Right, and then she comes down the stairs.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, she has a guy's hand help her down the stairs.
Right.
More than twice, we told the dude, put your hand all the way up. So she grabs it and steady on the way down. If you won't see the part where she fell, because he held his hand up and then he looked to the camera trying to get a piece, and she fell, but she fell on her knees and came right back up and kept singing. It was still great. It was beautiful. But what you saw was the second take and that's why she steps down the stairs so gingerly and people start cheering when she gets to the bottom of the stairs, was because they had just seen her fall. All right.
Is she okay?
Oh, she was fine. She had a little, like she fell to her knees, did not fall over, started laughing and popped right back up.
Wow.
At some point in time, I'll show you. We made sure we kept a copy of it. So I'll show you at some point.
Wow, that sounds like a case to me. I'm just saying. But it was everything was really good. What and next up for you is New Year's Eve, Steve?
New Year's Rockin' Eve coming up on December 31st with the Ryan Seacrest, Liza Koshy, Billy Porter, Sierra, and D Nice.
Nice.
Wow.
We're taking over everything.
I know, right?
Look out, Hockey.
I shouldn't have let me in the door.
Young Kwyn, where are you headed? What's going on with the Poetess?
I don't have any upcoming shows coming up. I just recently applied for the Cave Kenham Fellowship.
Say that again. What's the fellowship?
Cave Kenham. It's a known Black poet organization. They're known fellows for me, like are my Chicago heroes, like Nate Marshall, Cush Thompson. So the fellowship includes a retreat with known faculty. They call them faculty members, and I basically get to write in nature and relax. And the last poem that I wrote was somewhat of a love poem. And when I said the stars freckled the sky the last time you and I were on the phone. And so that's what I submitted for my fellowship application. So pray that I get this fellowship application, and I'm in the midst of applying for my PhD program in higher education. So I'm trying to do less stage, but more page stuff.
I like it.
And not really quinology. So yeah, just pray on the journey. And I bought an air fryer today. So forget poetry. I'm
Yay.
Wow. That's your closer. That's your closer right there.
Still book me, but yes.
I need you to understand that at some point in time, I don't know in what medium it's going to be, but I am going to use the analogy of freckles and stars. That's fire.
That's fine. That's why
I fire.
Did nothing to you.
And speaking of fire, bring that air fryer home to your mama's house and cook for everybody at Christmas time.
Yes, potatoes and tater tots.
Tater tots, yeah, for sure. Don't forget the tater tots. Myra, how are you in terms of the weather? Big stormage in.
We actually did okay here in Atlanta, and I think maybe some brief power outages, but we didn't get the severity that they received in Louisiana and Alabama and Mississippi. Although it was so funny, about 11:30 last night, I'm sitting here, my power starts flickering on and off, and I'm like, oh, get candles. Wait, get your flashlight in case you don't have time. So I'm running around. I get the flashlight. I got 3 candles. I'm lighting. I'm like, this stuff ain't flicking now another time since I've been waiting around the house like a crazy person.
That's funny. Well, on a serious tip, at least 2 people were killed in Alabama as severe storms and tornadoes swept across the South. This was Tuesday night into this morning. 2 people killed in Alabama, damaging homes, other buildings, and downing trees in several states. And this was a tornado that hit the Flatwood area near Alabama's capital of Montgomery. That according to CNN, and at least 30 tornado reports have been made since Tuesday afternoon, mostly in central and southern Mississippi and Alabama, as well as Louisiana, as Myra mentioned those states. But they did say that tornadoes decimated parts of Alabama. So check on your folks.
Yep. Shout out to our faithful Facebook watcher, Michael Stallworth, who dodged it in Mobile, Alabama. Alabama, dodged a nasty tornado in Washington County. So.
There you go. Get well wishes for former President Bill Clinton. He's got the vid again. For the second or third time he has reported on Twitter that he has been given a diagnosis of coronavirus, despite being vaxxed and boosted. He is recovering from that. And he just says that as a result of being vaxxed and boosted, the symptoms were not as difficult, as dangerous as they could have been without being boosted. Stephen Hill, I wanted to ask you about Dr. Fauci's resignation, or coming to the end of his term as a government worker. You have any thoughts on him walking away from this job after 40 years, the Institutes of Allergy and Infectious Diseases?
Well, he's past the retirement age, so I got no. Look, he did his thing. He led this. He was the voice of reason that we needed through the pandemic.
Yep.
I can imagine that he never expected that his life was going to take such a tumultuous turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're it's kind of like you practice for this. It's like the National Guard. Like you're kind of ready, but you kind of never think you're going into this type of action.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm assuming this. I can understand why this might have wound him down, and like he owes us nothing. Like he legit owes us nothing. And I wish him very, very well in his retirement.
This has been a difficult week for me in terms of losses in the music world. Today came the announcement that Christine McVie of Fleetwood Mac died at the age of 79. That just hurt my heart. This on the heels of Irene Cara's death over the weekend at the age of 63. And apparently Christine McVie had been sick for a very short period of time. And her friend Stevie Nicks, also of Fleetwood Mac, talked to her on the phone. And she wanted to go and visit her. And the family said, wait and come a little bit later. She said she wished she had not listened to that, and that she had gone to her friend's side and sent her, wrote a note, I guess, in social media saying, I'll see you on the other side. Don't forget me. Mm-hmm. Fleetwood Mac and Irene Cara provided some of the songs for my teenage years. Mm-hmm. And especially, Fame and Flashdance. And so it was not necessarily contemporaries, but yes, in terms of what their music meant to me. I was a big fan of Christine McVie's music writing ability. And she was just amazing. Had you met either one of them, Steve?
I had indeed. I met Irene Cara back in the Fame days, and Christine McVie had an album that came out in 1984. I forget the name of the album, but I mean, I love Fleetwood Mac, but that her solo album, which is what do you call it, eponymous? She named it after herself.
Yeah,
she named it after herself. Is a collection of fine songs.
Yeah, absolutely. So, thank you for all the great music, ladies. I appreciate you. And I don't know if any of you are McDonald's fans, but McDonald's is giving away the McGold cards that will grant you free food, young Kwyn, for life. You can go get those McDonald's fries if you are a part of their effort to hand out, I believe it's a dozen of their legendary perk cards, and they call it the McGold card. And even if you're not a huge Mickey D's fan, this is something that a lot of people are aiming for. You have to go and you have some steps you have to go through, like the app and things like that. And but they're giving out a dozen McGold cards, and they say this will feed you for life. Not necessarily every day, Kwyn, but it is something that, because I know you're a woman of technicalities, and so, but I do want to say you could probably go get some a fillet of fish and fries couple of times a week and be okay.
I would pick them for all the homies and all the unhoused people.
Right. That would be you. That would
Everybody
be you.
can sleep on them.
Yeah. So be on the lookout for that. If you come across somebody who says, "Hey, baby, I got him a gold card," that could be your person. Hey, how about that? So yeah. The last thing I did want to talk about is that San Francisco has approved killer robots to be on their police force. Have you seen this? San Francisco Board of Supervisors voted Tuesday night to approve a controversial policy that would allow police to deploy robots capable of using lethal force in extraordinary circumstances. And those extraordinary circumstances mean that they could kill someone.
Brought to you by Jerry Bruckheimer.
Right. It does sound like that, right? It does sound like exactly like that. A heated debate on policy will allow officers to use ground-based robots to kill when risk of loss of life to members of the public or officers is imminent. The officers cannot subdue the threat after using alternative force options like stop and then bang, bang, like they do, or other de-escalation tactics. And it requires a second vote next week, but it was approved by the San Francisco Board of Supervisors 8-3. Supervisors those three voted against the policy, saying there's serious potential for misuse and abuse of this military-grade technology and zero showing of necessity. They adopted the amendment requiring one of two high-ranking San Francisco Police Department leaders. I'm not laughing at this. I'm laughing at this, just the craziness. They have to have one of two high-ranking San Francisco Police Department leaders to authorize any use of a robot for lethal force. Have you not heard of
the movie RoboCop? Didn't we? And
it didn't end well.
No, it did not.
Right.
No, it did not.
So,
okay.
Be careful when you go to San Francisco, folks. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
By the way, in a related story, back in 1973, I used to do a killer robot.
You know what?
Oh, aren't you the cutest thing? Are you doing a robot? Are you doing a skinny ball?
I did a killer robot.
Killer robot. I think that's what we're hoping to avoid in San Francisco.
Most trust me, most girls in my junior high school tried to avoid it there too. So. Yeah.
Let's move to entertainment, shall we? And this is Tyler Perry has done it again. He has signed a new deal with another studio, and that would be Amazon. As if Tyler doesn't have his own studio to make the movies. Now he just finished a deal, I guess, with Netflix, and now he has inked, as they say in the biz, a 4-picture film deal with Amazon Studios. And the multi-hyphenate producer, actor, writer, director will see him write and direct and produce 4 features for release on Prime Video in more than 240 countries and territories worldwide. As if, people aren't seeing him and getting enough of Tyler with the BET and Netflix, as I said, and so on and so forth. He is obviously unbelievably talented. His most recent film, A Jazzman's Blues, which he wrote 27 years ago, directed and produced it most recently and premiered and was released by Netflix recently. And he wrote and directed A Medea Homecoming, which is the 12th installment in the Medea franchise. Wow. Okay, so
he used to bring Medea aboard the Tom Jordan Morning Show cruise back before.
Yes, he did.
Back before movie number 1, when he was still just doing the plays.
That's right. And it was nice enough to include Tom and Jay and me in one of the movies. So Medea goes to jail. You'll see us talking about it in the studio. So good on you, Tyler. And that is all she wrote. Any of you have any other entertainment you'd like to share that we did not talk about?
I was going to say, in terms of Irene, I knew her from Sparkle. That was like movies that my dad played for me. He was like, you need to know. Or the Crown and Glory, you need to know the original before you know the remake. And he played fell in love with her. Yes. And so my heart definitely was shattered a bit as well. But my dad is also in heaven, so I was like, "Damn, you getting everybody!" Like, So I just felt a little bit like, oh, she's at peace. I'm praying for her family.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. They don't have a cause of death for either of those women, but the lives that they led and the talent that they shared and spread with us is definitely something we will always remember. Closing out with our daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewel.
Very, very, very quickly, can I just ask everyone in Georgia to please go vote? Thank you.
Because you voted.
I voted.
And Tuesday is the last day.
Well, yes, Friday is the last day for early voting. But
yes.
Tuesday
is
and then Tuesday is election day. That's it.
Yeah, don't let anybody tell you different, folks. Unless it's a certain Republican candidate. Today's daily inspiration is, with time, most people show who they really are. Mm-hmm. So inhale truth with that small nose of yours, Stephen Hill. Exhale falsity.
Inhaled all the time.
I got all the truth.
All the time. We don't run out of time.
Thanks, everybody. Have a wonderful week. Thank you for joining us and being a part of this merry band. We'll see you next time. Aloha.
Bye-bye.